Final thoughts. Part of what's caused so many problems for so long has to do with the information available and how the information available gets shared, when and where, and all kinds of other parts, with the data included. Statistics, facts, and truth. Traditionally shared in print, books, newspapers, billboards, advertisements, and now everywhere. Libraries, online retailers selling books, websites. And there's this end to all of the disarray available now. Only requiring a choice to be made. Now, choosing to turn off the sound instead of using the mind and the brain to ignore, teaching the body to block the sound, the noise, all requiring energy now. In deciding what to do with so much abundance. And beauty. Now, people who fought in world wars and Iraq and Afghanistan and people who serve now have spent their time trying to make the world better now. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people who teach classes and work in universities as tenured professors and activists and political leaders who have the same ability to get the same benefit from what's been accumulated now, and instead are choosing language, speaking and talking and telling and yelling and screaming and demanding, instead of giving what needs to get shared. Instead of the food and the drinks, conversation in the coffees, and the posters and the artists explaining now and solving nothing now. Continuing with the same strategy and tactics since civilization began now. people have only a few options available on this object called planet Earth now. This object called planet Earth. Now, floating in outer space, observed for hundreds of years with telescopes and primitive devices, locating the sun, the moon, and other planets around in the sky. And some of these options have to do with family, food, water, health, friends, loved ones. And after this initial part of the world, with civilization involved, there's a lot of extra time. For some people, used to fight fires from drought, heal coronavirus patients in hospitals, and arrest the violent criminal, the obnoxious drug addict who peeks and watches and waits to steal to support their habit now. And these parts support the world in the civilization called the United States of America. Now, in the remaining time, currently has to do with economics. Businesses to buy some marijuana, some tobacco, some of that good weed, some of that liquor, and some of those booze. And now in Oregon, some of those mushrooms they're trying to have now. Sex over on Aurora in Seattle. And matches on the internet to date from places like Tinder and Facebook and Craigslist and Twitter and Instagram. Stimulation. Mostly there's time available to support this civilization and to make the world better. To eat healthier and to be stronger and have more energy and not get cancer. And then there's other choices available to make the finger disappear with psychedelics. To not see out of the eyes and go inward and find another world, dimension. And people accomplish these tasks with explaining consciousness, telling other folks and humans about their self and their ego and how they can be alive now and not harm or hurt or get in the way or be a bother to those who don't have family or loved ones who have their drug and their meth and their crack and their substances. And there's not much else to do. Bird watching, hiking, activities. And mostly eating and getting some sleep to be ready for now. Time can be separated, counted, painted, and written about, philosophized about in colleges and schools. But doesn't ever go away now. The sadness with finally understanding the brain and the body and being able to describe the mind and not be afraid to walk around in the world next to someone who dresses like a banana and does whippets from a dairy can. And the person next to them and down the street and across the valley and over the hills who demands a certain look with the eyes, an appearance with style and clarity, with language and letters and sentences and grammar. The stimulation and the behavior within the world are all language does and accomplishes now. All of the letters people are saying in the dialect, the sound of their voice, are stimulating and behaving, telling about a behavior and the wrong word being said out loud now, and making another person so happy and so aware and so thoughtful and excited. And occasionally communicate, hey, I don't want to have sex with you. Hey, you're not as big and strong as you really explain. Choosing to go on your Facebook and your Instagram and reading about paleo diets on the internet and finding women on websites and not really being as primitive as you. Elaborate now. As an example,